Phil Ivey isn't just a poker legend, he's a force of nature. With eyes that see through stone and instincts nobody can teach, he's made the impossible look routine. Bluffs, traps, cold reads that shattered world-class players. These are the 10 most unbelievable reads of Phil Ivey's career. We kick things off with a classic, Ivey versus Helmuth. Two titans. One meltdown-loading Helmuth raises with Jack-5 of hearts and runs straight into a flop soaked in false hope. Flush draw, open ender, full blast-off mode. But sitting in the small blind, Ivey's already ahead. King 9 of hearts. Same draw, bigger bite. Ivey leads small, 6K into the fire. Helmuth, all steam and swagger, jacks it up to 20K. The pot swells to $61,500, and Ivey just calls like he's checking his watch, not reading a man's soul. Because that's what this is. Two players aiming for the same flush, but only one of them knows that it's already over.
Kings on the turn for Ivey. Quick check. Phil Helmuth only has 80,000 left. There's already 60,000 in the pot. Helmuth knows Ivey was in the small blind, just called the 2,000, could easily have a hand like 7-8.
I'm all in.
He's going all in.
Call.
And Phil Ivey calls.
Hold on a sec, let's take a look. Gee, that's rough shape. 6 wins.
That is not the hand Phil Helmuth was hoping to see. Ivey does not want to deal with 3 times. And no insurance because Phil Helmuth doesn't have the best hand.
Strength.
Wow, they both make the flush on the river.
Yeah, man.
Looks like Phil Helmuth is leaving.
The rest, pure Ivey. Turn deals a king. Helmuth shoves 80K. Ivey snap calls. River brings the flush for both, and Ivey just cools him with silence. No deal, no insurance, no blink. Just one brutal reminder, you don't draw to the nuts when Phil Ivey's already holding them. And if that felt insane, we're only just getting started. Hand time, and we already hit something insane. Ivey opens with king-queen, hits the flop clean. Top pair, strong kicker, 65K into the middle. But Dan Cates is lurking with king-jack and raises it to 165K. The board's king-jack 3. Ivey's ahead of most hands, but Cates isn't most hands. The pot's 381K. Low gets out of the way. Now it's on Ivey. And here's where it gets weird. He tanks. He calculates. Then folds top pair face up like he saw it coming 5 minutes ago. No tantrum, no doubt, just a quiet internal nod that says, yeah, this wasn't my pot.
Now, Jungle Man probably doesn't do this with ace-king, so he's either got 2 pairs and sets or some kind of big combo draw. Ivey's spot is tougher than that math problem from Good Will Hunting.
Wow, Ivey folds! And if you thought folding top pair was next level, just wait, because in the next hand, Ivey doesn't lay it down, he loads the clip. It's easy to win with monsters, but this one, Ivey's holding 7-4, sweeted, and decides to fire anyway. Faraz Jaka opens the button. Ivey calls from the big blind with the hand you'd barely defend in home games. Flop comes, 9-5-3. Jaka's still ahead with king high. He just doesn't know it yet, because Ivey donk leads. Then comes the turn, 10 of spades, no help. Ivey leads again. Same motion, same rhythm, nothing in the hand, just pressure. The pot grows to 417,000, and Jaka, he keeps floating. Still king high, still curious. Then the river hits. Queen of clubs. No pair, no draw, and Ivey's board is bone dry.
Another big bet, and this time Phil doesn't have it, which means it's a bluff, which means someone's going in the cage. For a healthy percentage of his stack. Phil's put him in a really tough spot. And Faraz's time is ticking. 10 seconds. Faraz's hand is dead, that's a fold, and that means he's going to the cage.
It's a bluff.
Yes, Vanessa, well done.
I was about to call, too.
No, you weren't.
That's brutal. Jaka folds king high, gets caged, and never even sees the bluff coming. But Ivey's not just a cold bluffer, he's a clairvoyant value better. because in hand 7, he floats Negranu with nothing, spikes middle pair, and somehow extracts value from ace high. We're at hand 7. Ivey's holding 9-6 offsuite, complete garbage. But when he raises the button, Daniel defends with ace 4 of clubs, and things get strange fast. Flop comes, queen, 3, queen. Daniel check raises with nothing but ace high. Looks strong? Probably is. But Ivey, he just floats. No hand, no draw, just instinct. Then comes the turn, 6 of hearts. It's not much, but it's enough. Daniel checks and Ivey fires half pot like he's still ahead. The total climbs to $930,000. 2 players, no pairs worth bragging about, and one of them's about to fire again.
Here's an 8, so Phil with the best of it. Daniel checks, and Phil bets.
This is awesome.
So I might pay him. 400? Yes. Trying to say you have a queen, sir? When do you have, how do you, you're gonna learn my trick, how to flop trips? I lost my screen. Okay.
Daniel calls.
You're right.
And Phil takes the chip lead.
You son of a gun. I played good. Kinda. Except you got there.
Phil really knew where he was at in the hand. Fantastic value bet.
That's wild. Daniel calls him down with ace high and still gets clipped by bottom pair. But if you thought that was sneaky, just wait. In hand 6, Ivey slow plays a full house and Jennifer Tilly walks right into it. Jennifer Tilly, charismatic, smart, aggressive in all the right spots. And across from her, Phil Ivey, holding bullets and holding back. Ivey opens, Tilly flats with ace-queen suited. The flop drops, ace, 8-8. Top pair for Tilly, top set for Ivey, and somehow he checks. Tilly fires a value bet. Ivey calls without emotion, just cold control. The turn, 7 of hearts. Ivey checks again. Tilly hesitates and checks it back. Careful, respectful, smart. But that gives Ivey all the rope in the world. River, 9 of clubs. No more checking. Tilly bets again, confidently, reading Phil as captain passive. Oh, but she's wrong. Oh, so wrong. And now Ivey finally moves, check raises, no eye contact, no shake, just a bomb dropped at the end of a perfect setup. There's $795,000 in the middle, and suddenly everything freezes. Tilly leans back, thinking, recalculating. What does he have? Triple eights? A weird 2-pair? Is this the bluff bonus? 10 seconds, 5, and then none.
Okay, here's why I like a call. A, Phil doesn't know who we are, so he's gonna think he can boss us. 2, Phil just got reminded about the $25K bluff bonus, so it's fresh in his mind. Oh man, I just realized he's got tons of 8s and 2 pairs and straights in his range. Fudge, this is so hard. Okay, well, I think we should call.
Call.
Jen calls.
Come on.
Phil tables pocket aces.
Pretty sure it's value.
Yeah.
Gross. Oh, God, I'm gonna be sick.
Nice hand.
That's a tough one. Tilly goes for value and walks right into a full house. But Ivey's reads don't just show up in big pots. In hand 5, he turns a small pair into a statement and gets McDonald to lay down top pair without a fight. Hand 5. McDonald's got king-queen suited. Looks clean. Feels strong. But he's heads up against Ivey, where good hands go to die. Flop comes. Jack, Jack, 10. McDonald picks up a straight draw and bets. Ivey, sitting on pocket 9s, just calls. Quiet. Shadow boxing. Then the turn lands. Queen of spades. McDonald pairs up, finally connects, and Ivey leads straight into him. There's $101,000 in the pot, and now McDonald's staring down a bet that doesn't make sense unless you've played Ivey before.
For 60,000.
I don't see him leading the turn with a 10. This will be a tight fold, but any 2 big cards are a big part of Ivey's range, and many of those hands are ahead. Ace-king, ace-queen, ace-jack. Shall I continue?
Well, Mike clearly thinks he's behind. He's folded.
Like I said, tight fold. Gotta be a history-based decision.
Ivey had 9s.
Man, he...
That's pretty crazy. Top pair folded, and Ivey didn't even need to raise. He just leaned on the pressure and took it. But hand 4, that one's a war. Because next up, Ivey dives into a 3-way pot with 2 legends, $1 million stack, and nothing but a draw. Hand 4. 3 players, 1 puzzle. Ivy raises with King 9 suited. Maria flats. Negrano completes. 3-way to a flop of 7-6-6. Ivy technically has the best hand with King high, but nobody's connecting hard. Action checks around. Turn, another 7. Double paired board, still no bets. Still no information. But everybody's thinking. Ivy's scanning both players. Maria's calculating. And Daniel's just waiting.
Queen on the river. So if this goes to showdown, Daniel and Phil will chop this pot.
Maria, you cheeky little monkey. I think Daniel lets this go. No!
Think again. He raises!
The rare Negrano River bluff raise.
And he gets a fold from the guy he was chopping with.
Though technically he's bluffing with the best hand.
And after the fold, Daniel can't help but needle a little. But watch Ivy. He's not mad. He already knows.
Bluff? Huh? What's that?
That was a bluff, wasn't it, Daniel?
What are you talking about?
It was a bluff.
Why? What did you see? You saw something different? Makes you think it was a bluff?
I just thought it was
I gotta
a
know.
bluff.
I gotta know.
I
what
just
you're
thought that
trying to
one was a
Well,
bluff.
I gotta know too. You
Everybody
tell
wants
me
to
what
know.
you know.
That's the thing about Ivy. He folds the winner, but still calls the bluff. And just when you think he's too pussive, in hand 3, he flips the script, turns a nothing hand into a pure weapon, and leaves everybody wondering how the hell he pulled it off. The flop shows 10-3 deuce. Ivy's got top pair with 10-9, and Polk's chasing a gut shot with ace-4. It checks through. No movement, no signals, but the turn brings another deuce, and now Ivy stirs. He bets 75,000 into 107,000. Polk still has nothing, but he's dong Polk. He calls, and then comes the river, 6 of clubs. Ivy still has just a pair of 10s. Polk still has air, and yet the pot's grown to nearly 300K. Paul pauses, measures, and reaches deep. He fires 200,000, just under the full pot. It's not a bluff, but it sure as hell dressed like one. To Polk, this looks like pressure, manufactured heat, but Ivy's sizing is exact. This isn't overconfidence, it's bait. Quiet, deliberate bait.
To get called by ace high. This is the sort of thinking that these guys are doing. Like, he's put Doug Polk on ace high.
And Doug Polk hasn't moved, so Phil Ivey's instincts once again, no surprise. Clearly making Doug Polk think about a call.
Raised to 580.
Wow, this is a surprise. He's made a raise here.
So he's turned his hand into a bluff, basically. There's no use raising. He's only going to get called by a better hand. Okay? He believes he's in front. If he does believe he's in front, he can just call and see what happens, right?
Well, Ivey was caught by surprise there.
But I wonder whether that was deliberate to try and get a reaction from Polk.
You can never tell, right? He said that I meant to bet 175,000, trying to elicit a reaction from Doug Polk, perhaps, a tell of some
Yeah,
kind.
I think it was a pretty futile attempt, but maybe he's just being honest. This is now playing poker, right? This is playing with people's minds right
So
now.
you were right the first time. Don't trust them.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't trust poker players.
Yeah, he knows.
Not at the table anyway. Confused, frustrated. Can he do it? Can he convince himself to call? He wants to, he doesn't want to. Do I, don't I? Every poker player in the world faces this, even Phil Ivey. There it is. He makes the call, so he will win a big pot. He almost looked a bit surprised there.
He was resigned to the fact that he's actually lost the hand, to be honest.
Polk rips a bluff. Ivy tanks and still calls him with second pair like it's nothing. No celebration, no stare down, just cold execution. But the read he pulls off in hand number 2, that one breaks the table. Phil picks up 8-6 offsuite and sees a 3-way flop. 5-7-3, all clubs. Artem has queen 4 and no real business in this pot. Vanessa has pocket 7s and hits top set. Ivy, he's holding a gut shot, backdoor clubs and a glint in his eye. He leads and it's unorthodox AF, reckless to some, genius to others. Artem flat calls with queen high, and Vanessa, she just calls. No slow play, no trap, just control. Turn, 10 of clubs. Now Ivy picks up the better draw, a real one. He leads again. Same story, weird sizing, weird timing, maximum discomfort. Artem finally gives up, and now it's just Phil and Vanessa. Heads up. One with a monster disguised as air, the other with the best hand and a growing sense that something's off. And as they stare each other down, we've got 4 cards on the board, a monster pot at 537K, and a river that hasn't even landed yet.
It's a 4. That's a straight for Phil.
Wow, so lucky. Artem even folded a 4.
Phil's shot clock running. 15 seconds to make a decision. 5 seconds. He bets big. And make no mistake about it, this is a bet for value. And as his time is ticking away, she folds!
She made that look so easy.
And Phil shows her that she probably made a very good decision.
She seems unconvinced.
That's brutal.
I still have no idea how she did that.
Not the turn I wanted to see.
Or raise the flop.
3-7?
Vanessa folds and Ivy casually flips 8-6, then hits her with, "You had 3 7s?" Dead on, like he wasn't in the hand, but narrating it. And if that felt surgical, wait till you see freaking hand number 1. And here it is, number 1. Ivy's holding Queen 7, Daniel with the so-called Ivy hand. But this time, the tricks are all Phil's.
Daniel with a gut shot straight draw. Bets.
Phil might finally get some back here. Or Daniel can continue running like Secretariat.
Yeah, he's got all kinds of tricks. He does that to see what I do with my eyes and stuff, and then he does it. I gotta stop looking. Oh no. You know I had garbage? You win.
10 reads, 10 victims, and 1 silent killer at every table. Phil Ivey doesn't need to talk, he just knows. And when the chips are down, nobody sees it coming. Nobody controls a table like Phil Ivey. These reads didn't just win pots, they built a legacy. But the mind games don't stop there. Click here to watch his most savage bluffs, where silence became a weapon and legends got played.